The email arrived on a Tuesday morning. Subject line, refinance complete, Lake House. I stared at my phone, coffee halfway to my lips. I didn't refinance anything. I owned the lake house outright. Bought it 6 years ago with my signing bonus when I made partner at the firm. My brother Kevin knew this. Everyone knew this. The deed had my name, singular, recorded with the county in 2019. No mortgage. No liens. Nothing. I opened the attachment. There was Kevin's signature on a refinance application. And mine. Except I'd never seen these documents before in my life. The paperwork claimed we were co-owners refinancing our family vacation property to reduce the interest rate from 6.2% to 4.8%. The cash-out amount, $125,000. Split between us according to the disbursement schedule. Except the entire $125,000 had gone to an account with only Kevin's name. I called the lender. A cheerful voice answered. Cascade Lending, this is Jennifer, how can I help you? I need to speak with your fraud department. The cheer evaporated. Can I ask what this is regarding? Someone refinanced a mortgage on a property I own outright. I never applied for this loan. I never signed these documents. Silence. Then, please hold. 14 minutes of hold music. A new voice, deeper, more cautious. This is Marcus Chin, Senior Fraud Investigator. I understand there's a concern about a recent refinance. I gave him the loan number from the email. I heard typing. Ma'am, our records show this loan closed 8 days ago. Both borrowers were present at signing. We have notarized documents. I wasn't present anywhere. Check the deed. Check the actual county records. That property has one owner. Me. No mortgage. This entire loan is fraudulent. More typing. A long pause. I'm going to need you to send me the deed and your identification. Can you do that within the hour? I can do it in 10 minutes. I hung up and pulled the documents from my file cabinet. The original deed. My driver's license. The title insurance policy. I scanned everything and sent it to the email address he provided. Then I sat down and thought about Kevin. My brother had always been the golden child. Charming. Quick with a joke. Our parents called him ambitious. I called him unable to keep a job for more than 18 months. In the past decade, he'd burned through a real estate career, a consulting business that folded in 6 months, and something involving cryptocurrency that he stopped talking about. But he'd always had money. Nice apartment in the city. Decent car. Regular vacations he documented extensively on social media. I'd assumed he was doing better than his track record suggested. Now I wondered what else I'd assumed wrong. My phone rang 40 minutes later. Marcus Chin again. Miss Patterson, I've reviewed the documents you sent. I've also pulled the county deed records. You're correct. You're the sole owner. This loan should never have been approved. What happens now? I'm escalating this to our executive team and our legal department. We'll also be filing a suspicious activity report with FinCEN. This loan officer, Derek Moss, he's been with us for 4 years. I'm looking at his files now. He personally handled this transaction. The notary on the documents is also concerning. Concerning how? The same notary has worked on 6 of Derek's loans in the past 3 months. All cash-out refinances. All with similar documentation patterns. I felt my stomach drop. You think this isn't the first time? I think we have a significant problem. Miss Patterson, I need to ask, do you know Derek Moss? No. And your brother, Kevin Patterson, how would he have connected with this specific loan officer? Good question. I don't know. But I'm going to find out. I called Kevin. It went to voicemail. I didn't leave a message. I called our parents. Mom answered on the 3rd ring, her voice bright. Sweetheart. We were just talking about you. Kevin said you two finally refinanced the lake house. That's wonderful that you're working together on it. My hand tightened on the phone. Mom, I didn't refinance anything. Kevin committed mortgage fraud using my property. Oh honey, don't be dramatic. He's your brother. He said you'd agreed to this. Something about tax benefits. He forged my signature on legal documents and stole $125,000. That's not dramatic. That's federal fraud. Her voice cooled. You're going to ruin his life over a misunderstanding? Family doesn't do that. I thought about all the times Kevin had borrowed money. All the times he'd had an opportunity that just needed a little capital. All the times our parents had told me to be more supportive of my brother's entrepreneurial spirit. Family doesn't commit felonies using each other's property, Mom. I have to go. I hung up before she could respond. The next call came from Marcus Chin 3 days later. Miss Patterson, our investigation has expanded. Derek Moss has been placed on administrative leave. His NMLS license has been suspended pending investigation. We've identified 11 loans with similar patterns. Total fraudulent originations, approximately $1.8 million. Jesus. Your brother's loan was actually one of the smaller ones. The notary involved, Sharon Westbrook. We believe she was paid to notarize documents without proper identification verification. She's also been suspended. The state licensing board has been notified. What about Kevin? That's where it gets complicated. We've frozen the loan. The $125,000 he received, we're working with the FBI to trace where that money went. Early indications show he used it to pay off personal debts, credit cards, and a down payment on a car. We'll be filing criminal charges. The U.S. Attorney's Office has been briefed. I sat down. Kevin was going to prison. My brother was going to federal prison. Marcus continued, "We'll also need a statement from you. The FBI will contact you directly. I'm sorry you're caught in this situation. I'm sorry I didn't check my property records more often. This isn't your fault. The system failed. Multiple people failed. Derek Moss is facing federal charges. He approved loans he knew were fraudulent to meet his quotas and collect commissions. Sharon Westbrook notarized documents she never properly verified. Your brother exploited those failures. None of that is on you." Kevin finally called me 6 days after the investigation started. I answered, "You destroyed my life." His voice was ragged. "The FBI came to my apartment. They seized my car. They froze my bank accounts. All because you couldn't just let this go." I felt something cold and sharp settle in my chest. "I destroyed your life? You committed mortgage fraud. You forged my signature. You stole my property to get $125,000 you had no right to. It's family property. Mom and Dad took us there every summer. Mom and Dad didn't buy that house. I did. With my money. My name is on the deed. Singular. You had no legal right to touch it. I needed the money. I had debts. So you committed federal fraud? That was your solution? How did you even find Derek Moss?" Silence. "Kevin, how did you find a corrupt loan officer?" "I met him at a networking event. He said he could help people with complicated financial situations. He asked for $15,000 upfront to facilitate the process." I laughed. It wasn't a pleasant sound. "You paid a bribe to commit fraud against me, using my property. And you think I'm the villain here? You're going to let them send me to prison? Your own brother." I thought about that. I thought about the ghost ledger I could create. Every family dinner where Kevin's new business venture got 20 minutes of discussion while my partnership got, "That's nice, dear." Every birthday he forgot. Every time I'd loaned him money, $2,000 here, $3,500 there, always temporary, never repaid, while he called me uptight about money. Every time our parents had suggested I help Kevin get on his feet, while he drove a car worth more than my annual vacation budget. The math was ugly. The emotional cost was uglier. "Kevin, you sent yourself to prison. You committed a federal crime. You involved a corrupt loan officer and a fraudulent notary. You forged documents. You stole $125,000. I didn't do any of that. You did. Please. Tell them it was a misunderstanding. Tell them you gave me permission. I'd be committing perjury. And I won't lie to federal investigators to save you from consequences you earned. Mom and Dad will never forgive you. Then I'll survive without their forgiveness too." I hung up. The FBI interviewed me 2 weeks later. A patient agent named Sarah Kozlov walked me through everything. She showed me the evidence they'd compiled. Derek Moss had run this scheme for 11 months. Sharon Westbrook had notarized 43 fraudulent documents. Kevin had targeted my property specifically because it was clean. No existing mortgage, no complications, easy to exploit. Your brother will likely take a plea deal, Agent Kozlov said. Federal mortgage fraud carries up to 30 years, but first offense cooperation he's looking at 18 to 36 months. Derek Moss is facing multiple counts. He'll serve significant time. And my house. Free and clear. The fraudulent loan is void. Cascade Lending is eating the loss. They're facing their own regulatory penalties for inadequate oversight. 3 months later, Kevin pleaded guilty. 24 months in federal prison. 5 years supervised release. Restitution that he'd never be able to fully pay. Our parents stopped speaking to me. They sent one email, "We hope you're satisfied. You destroyed this family." I wasn't satisfied. But I was free. I drove to the lake house for the first time since everything started. Late September, the trees burning orange and gold. I walked down to the dock and sat at the edge, feet dangling over the water. The silence felt different now. Not empty. Not lonely. Cling. I thought about all the years I'd tried to be the good daughter, the supportive sister, the responsible one who held everything together. I'd treated my family like an investment, kept adding more, convinced eventually I'd see returns. But you can't fund someone else's life while they burn yours down and call it love. The account was closed. The deed remained mine alone. And I was finally done subsidizing people who saw my assets as their emergency fund. I drove back to the city as the sun set, the lake house locked and secure behind me. My phone stayed silent. No texts from Kevin. No calls from my parents. No apologies I'd never receive. Just peace. Expensive, hard-won, unforgivable peace. And for the first time in years that was enough.